Mother dies with baby in her womb, but her husband does something unthinkable. Daniela Falcon was the name of the woman who was admitted to Arizona hospital. She arrived like all women who approach motherhood with a big smile and hope with a husband who never left her. The man was clearly in love with his wife and was extremely careful with her in every way. He was in charge of assisting her throughout the process and did not miss any appointments. That day, she was there for the long awaited routine ultrasound, in which she would know about the status of her beautiful baby boy. When the doctor was finally able to visualize the little one on the screen, he could not contain the expression of surprise on his face, which immediately worried the couple. He didn't say anything for a long moment, making these anguished parents' nervousness rise that much more. The doctor called some of his colleagues to consult on that situation, as he had never witnessed something like this in an ultrasound, but these few knew how to solve their doubts. The mother couldn't take her anguish much longer and, through the tears, asked the doctor what was happening to her little one. She asks because the doctor himself couldn't answer, because the baby was twice the normal size. He asked the parents to stay calm and said that he was going to start the exams in a row to control the growth because maybe in the next few months everything will be regulated. Unfortunately, the doctor's assumptions were not correct because that baby grew disproportionately, and for a short time, the woman already carried a completely abnormal belly for a pregnant woman carrying a single child in the womb. The doctors did not lose faith and tried to control the growth with various treatments. But it was impossible, and as time went on, not only the child's health was at risk, but also the mother's. Because her whole body was constantly abused due to the terrible weight and his organs were compressed, causing complications in her system, this meant that the woman had to stay in the hospital until an intervention was possible. John, the father of the baby, was very worried about his wife, of course, because she was the light of his life. And if he had to choose, he would choose her, because he believed that with the passage of time he could have more children. But he wasn't willing to see his beloved in danger. However, she couldn't think of anything other than the child she carried in her womb. The woman, from the first moment, knew she was pregnant, had loved that being, and would not let anything or anyone harm him. Despite all the complications that arose, she decided to face her husband and defend her son's life, telling him that she would endure the pregnancy as long as she could so that her son was born healthy and strong. That's how, when they reached the seventh month, the doctors decided that they couldn't wait any longer, as the woman was no longer able to breathe well due to the great size that her son had reached. So they quickly prepared the delivery room to perform an immediate C-section. The woman was sedated when she started screaming for her husband, who refused to support her in that madness, as he was afraid of losing her. But she needed him, and her screams convinced him to enter that place where, when he saw her, he felt his world collapse. His wife said, "Love, promise me that you'll love him as much as you love me." The man couldn't hold back the tears because this sounded like goodbye. He couldn't promise her such a thing, not if it cost him her life. And she looked at him desperately until the anesthesia took its toll and everything went dark. Doctors did everything to make sure everything went well, but unfortunately, when they were about to take the baby that size, it caused the mother to suffer many complications. She fought with all her strength, but it wasn't enough, and at the moment, she passed away. The boy shocked everyone, as his size was so large that it was almost impossible for his mother to survive until delivery. Suddenly, a terrible scream came out from the husband. Everyone was shocked by the man's reaction, who proceeded to insult his own son while hugging his wife, who died. The man walked across the room and asked, through tears, to take his son away because that little boy had taken the love of his life. This was very shocking to everyone present, especially Dr. Hannibal, who had to take care of the little one for many days because his father didn't want to see him. He simply took his wife, and there was no news of him in that place again. The doctor looked sadly at the little boy, whose mother fought for him, but unfortunately he would face the same fate as many of the little ones abandoned in that place. He would go to an orphanage where he wouldn't have all the love his mother could have given him. Suddenly, someone entered the place just before taking the child away forever. The doctor was impressed, because beside him was a much more recovered John. After smiling at the boy, he asked if he could carry him. The doctor said yes, and handed him to his father. Frank started making him laugh. The child looked exactly like his late mother. That moved the doctor to tears, who never forgot the pain and love he saw in the eyes of that man, who left with his son, but not before looking at the sky and making the promise he spoke of loving his child forever, like his wife wanted. God often puts difficult situations in our path, but we have to learn to face them because many times we have to ask ourselves why things happen and face them with love and gratitude for all the good he does for us.